Hi everyone, my name's Lou Sims and welcome to my channel. It's the start of a brand new month, which can mean just one thing: a wonderful YouTube hop with a fantastic bunch of creative souls from crafting together with all brands. So this month the theme is spring or spring-like, and I thought what would be really cool is to bring in our jelly plate, oxide inks, and some different stamp sets from Shady Designs, my own designs, to create my cards. So this video, we're going to be looking at how we created the backgrounds on the jelly plate, use those backgrounds for our stamped images, actually for all of our card. So I'm going to tidy up, get everything ready, and we'll make a start. Right, to start with, I want to make some backgrounds, and I'm going to use my 7x5 jelly plate, my 3x5, and some oxide inks to begin with. Now, my jelly plates are well used. The reason that they're the colour they are is because I've used alcohol inks on them and some other mediums, which has changed the colour, but doesn't mean they can't work. And I've put a piece of white card behind so you can actually see the inks on top, because obviously the colour of the jelly plate could disguise what I'm doing a little bit more. So I'm going to begin, and I just want to make some lovely fresh backgrounds. And I'm going to take the, I find it easy to take the oxide ink pad to the jelly plate. I know some people prefer to brayer on. Horses for courses, I suppose. So I've chosen a light lemon, a squeezed lemonade, a light yellow, a light lemon, what I suppose it is, dried marigold, and abandoned coral. So they're all very closely related colour-wise. And I thought it just reminded me of the colours of spring when you see like the daffodils coming up. And that's what the look I was going for. If you pulled a print with it like this, you would just see all the little mottling effects. So if you do want a little bit more of a smoother look with your oxides, it's best to brayer it out. So there is so much ink on here, I'm actually going to put it onto my smaller plate over there, because it seems a shame to waste it. I'm just going to put a bit more on there. And then I just want to bring in a stencil. And this is my Shady Designs Moroccan trellis. And then I want to stamp in between it with my Shady Designs hidden layers, because the patterns are very, very similar. So I'm just going to put the stamp on, and when I lift it up, I'm going to be mindful that I don't lift the stencil. Now, on the stamp here is lots of oxide. So I've got a scrap piece of card here that I'm just going to put that on the back there, because why waste it? And as you can see, it's got the starting point from there. So I'm just going to keep building this up. And that's the beginning of my background. So I wanted to go for like soft colours, spring colours, you know, I suppose you could say pastel shades. So we've got that background going, and that's where I did the extra stamping. I'm hoping the camera picks it up. It's very faint, but I've got that one going there. I've got some excess ink on here, so I'm just going to put my stencil back on, and I'm just going to lift up the first part. So as you can see, that there was enough ink there that I can do and start building up another background. There is still lots of ink left on my brayer, and I'm just going to put it onto the smaller plate and use the stamp. And I've got another subtle background, and that was just the leftover ink on my brayer. So I'm going to do that again, but I want to create a larger background, so I end up with some different pieces I can do for matting and layering. As you saw, I spritzed my jelly plates just to clean up the last of the inks. And I've obviously got all of this ink left on the stencil, so I'm going to give that a quick spritz. I'm going to put it on top of this background, because we might as well make another background if we can. And then I've got another background just cleaning up my stencil and those oxide inks. And there's still just a tiny little bit of ink left, so I'm going to do exactly the same on the mop-up piece that I've been doing to the side of me. And this piece is a little bit subtler, but it's bringing all those together. Just using the 3 oxides and my jelly plate, I've got myself a whole host now of backgrounds that I can work on that are all colour coordinated. I'm going to let those dry, and then I'm going to start stamping and cutting them up, ready to turn into some handmade cards. Well, I've left the backgrounds to dry. They didn't take that long, but I did want to leave them to dry. And I've cut them down to create, my different card sizes. So this card will be a 7x5. I've then cut a smaller piece because this will be a 6x4 or an A6 card. And then I've cut another background down to fit a 5.5 square, so I can mat this up if I wanted to make it a 6-inch square card. But initial thoughts is it's going to be well, this part here is a 5.5 square. So they're my card base ideas. Now, what I did do then is I've taken all the other bits of the backgrounds and I've begun stamping the different images I want from the leftover pieces, and those I've got to cut out. But what I had to do, I realized that if I was going to make spring flowers, I needed to have some green somewhere. So using exactly the same principle I used to create my first lot of backgrounds, I've used peel paint with a little bit of salvage patina oxide to create some extra backgrounds, which are obviously green for leaves, and I've stamped on those, getting them ready to actually use. So I'm going to go and cut all these out, and once they're all cut out, come back and we'll start compiling everything together. Okay, I've gone away, I've cut all those different elements out, and they're all sitting here ready to go. Lots of different pieces. And what I want to do is I actually just want to start by adding some extra detailing to the backgrounds. I'm not sure why, but I just thought it would be nice to just bring in a little bit more. So I'm going to use the same oxide colours that I used to create on the jelly plate, and I'm just going to add some text and other bits and pieces. And I want to start on the card base, and then what I want to do is just add it to the card itself. I'm not going to go for perfect stamping. I'm just going to bring the stamp to the block. So if it doesn't come out 100%, I think that will add to it a little bit. So I've got this here now, so that's done. So what I want to do is I just want to add a little bit of a border. I'm just going to use an alcohol marker just to add a little bit of a border in place. I might as well go, actually I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go all the way around. I wasn't originally, but I am now. So we've got that there. And now it's just building up and bringing up all the different layers. So I'm going to, sorry, I'm banging and crashing. I'm going to use different bits that I've got left over, plus all my stamped images. Okay, so that's the starting point for that card, and I'm going to build up the bases on the other 2 cards and then do all the final decoration at the same time. Right, I've got the initial backgrounds that I want to use in place, and now it comes, that I can dress them up and create them, add all the different layers that I want to do. That's just in my head how it just seems to work better for me. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to use, let me bring them in a little bit, and you can see all the different stamped bits and pieces along the top there and start building everything up in place. So let's make a start. Right, so that's my initial designs. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and find some sentiments that I think would work for each of the cards and place them on. And then that will be the next stepping point, whether I think I need to add just a little bit of colour or a little bit of glitz or something. I'm thinking of getting my Gelli Roll sparkles out for that. And then maybe a few sequins. So I'm going to go and gather all those supplies and we'll get going, but I'll give you a quick look at where we're up to so far. So this is going to be our 5.5 by 5.5, our little A6, and then our 7 by 5. Right, I've gone away, I've chosen my sentiment, which I really do find a little bit of a struggle. I like to live with my cards 9 times out of 10 and then see what happens. And I've just added a few sequins on there. So we've got this one here. I've still got some, like little bits of stamped images left over that I can add to the card and build it up. Whether I will, I don't know. So this will be, as I said, my 5 by 5, my A6. And I've kept the sequence simpler on here. Could add a few more. And then finally my 7 by 5. And I could build this one up again as I have a few more of the stamped flowers. And I might just do that on this one, is just to add 1 or 2 more. So they're my actual cards, all created from those initial backgrounds we created using the oxides on the Gelli plate. Thanks ever so much for your time and company. And, bearing with me as I faff and flit around all over the place. Everybody taking part in the YouTube hop is listed below in my description box. We'd love it if you all popped over to visit us all, because we've taken the one theme and we've each added our own little personality, our own little stamp onto it. Until next time, take care. See you all soon. Bye.